The town of Oatlands in the southern Midlands has long been recognised for its Georgian architecture, but its importance in the early life of Van Diemen's Land has often been overlooked. The local council is trying to change all that with a series of ambitious projects it hopes will make sure it's no longer bypassed. One that's already getting national attention is a major archaeological dig. It's attracted students from across the country keen to volunteer their time.
Hey Nikki, how's it looking?
It's going all right. We've still got a lot of rubble, just sandstone and brick stuff.
Yeah, go down with the mattock a bit easy and then start troweling.
One of Tasmania's oldest colonial settlements, the southern Midlands town of Oatlands, is a treat for archaeologists. Renowned for its sandstone Georgian buildings, the town's hedging its future on its historic past. The restored Callington flour mill began grinding grain again last year after a century-long hiatus. Now attention has turned to other landmarks.
We've got quite a few heritage projects throughout the wider municipal region. I guess it's Oatlands' renaissance for heritage. I mean, it's now really becoming recognised, and Oatlands is being recognised as a destination for heritage.
The manager of heritage projects for the municipality, Brad Williams, has been planning the dig at the 1830s Oatlands jail for the best part of a decade.
This was quite unique, the fact that it was intended to become the central capital of Tasmania, so it was set up with a substantial jail. It had a Supreme Court. The jail was only ever built to a quarter of the size that it was intended to, so it could hold 250 people, but if the whole scheme had been realised, it would have held 1,000 people, which is massive for Oatlands when you consider the place now doesn't even have that in population.
Despite not being built to initial plans, the site still covers about 2,000 square metres and was the largest regional jail in the colony. It included quarters for the guards, known as javelin men, divisions for male and female inmates, solitary cells, condemned cells and a gallows, where 18 men were executed. The complex was downgraded in the 1860s and used as a municipal jail until the 1930s, when, with only 2 inmates, it was closed and largely demolished. The town's collection of heritage buildings is well known, but Brad Williams fears the district's contribution to the early life of the colony has been largely neglected.
It has, to a certain degree, I guess, when you consider that the recent World Heritage listing of Australian convict sites tends to aim to pick up the whole range of convict experience, from probation stations through to secondary punishment. We've got them all here at Oatlands within a very, very small area.
Remains of the men's division and debtors' yard are now under the 1950s municipal swimming pool. The long-term plan is to reclaim the site and to build a new pool elsewhere. Designed by John Lee Archer, who was responsible for many of Tasmania's most significant buildings, much of the jail's perimeter fence is still intact, as is the jailer's residence. Vacant for the past 50 years, it's seen better times, but restoration work has uncovered some gems. What have you found so far?
One of the amazing finds that this building gave up was when we were preparing the walls in this room, our painters had to strip some really, really flaky calcimine paint, and all of a sudden they saw some lettering on the wall. So with careful removal of that paint, we found the 1859 prison regulations for the Oatlands jail. And what's really unique about these are for Oatlands, so these were written at the courthouse across the road. They're all signed by the local justices of the peace and magistrates. It's dated Oatlands, it makes reference to the Oatlands courthouse.
Left undisturbed beneath layers of old paint has preserved them well. The trick will now be to prevent the rules from degrading. Further discoveries were made during stabilising works on the building.
During the works program, we've done some work pulling up floorboards to stabilise downstairs ceilings, and we found some amazing artefacts in amongst the ceiling to floor cavities between the first and second floor. which are an amazing collection which tell you a lot about the lives of the jailer and the people who lived in the jail. And they also provide a really good comparative collection for what we might find in the jail itself later as well.
What lies beneath the rest of the complex is just beginning to be uncovered.
What have we found there, Angie?
We've got that off now, and we've come down onto the front wall of the Javelin Men's building, and so just this morning we got off the last of that bit of fill and we're able to actually expose the wall, so we know now where it is.
There are 4 archaeologists supervising 9 students from interstate universities who have volunteered to be part of Oatlands' first major archaeological dig.
What we're looking for at the moment is the Javelin Men's building, which is where some of the guards lived, and we've found the front wall of it, which is pretty exciting.
Nikki Corbett graduated with honours from Sydney University last year.
Something like this is fairly rare. I mean, this is an excellent site. Apart from them knocking the building down in the 50s to build the pool, it's really the subsoil layer is really well preserved, and yeah, it's really exciting. There's not a lot of sites like this left. Often what happens is when there's new construction, new subdivisions, new buildings, you get to dig, but it's never anything as exciting or research oriented as this. So yeah, this should tell us a lot about Australia's convict history.
For a state with as much heritage as Tasmania, we've got a lot of historic heritage, a lot of Aboriginal heritage. There hasn't been a great deal of archaeology done, and so this Oatlands presents an opportunity to come up with a really cohesive program so that we can look at all sorts of different sites in Oatlands, because Oatlands is a lot of the heritage is really well preserved, a lot of the sites are really well preserved.
Supervisor Kate Quirk is from the Queensland Museum.
I find it absolutely amazing that there is no archaeology department here, because everyone's doing their best, sort of coming over from the mainland and trying to get different sorts of coordinated research going up, but it's always very difficult to do that at arm's length.
Brad Williams agrees.
Definitely, given that Tasmania's got the largest proportion of heritage-listed buildings of any Australian state, it would be nice to be able to have more Tasmanian archaeologists coming through programs like this.
As well as running an annual program of archaeological field schools, the Southern Midlands Council is planning to overcome other shortages in the state.
The council's established a not-for-profit organisation to look at addressing heritage trade skills shortages. So we're looking at putting together a program of training workshops, of which student involvement in archaeological digs is part of. We've just completed a skills survey where we've looked at what skills shortages there are in heritage trades in Tasmania.